All right, we're back. We alive. What's going on, Joe?
What's going on, buddy?
It's good to have a good friend on the podcast, and also a friend with experience in the matters of life.
Thank you. Thank you for those words.
So
I would
basically,
like to believe.
we brought you on because your mindset's pretty much, in my opinion, like it's pretty solid. Like you're on the grind. You're always right now. You're always like you're working. You're working towards your goals.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to go back to college, right? To go get your degree.
That's right.
You want to teach, right?
I do want to teach.
And what are you going to be teaching?
Hopefully, I want to teach Spanish or philosophy.
That's pretty cool, man, because a lot of people, including myself, would like to learn more of those things. So I'll sign up.
Cool.
What do you call it? Basically, over the years, like Mike and I have known you, and your mindset has pretty much like drastically changed over the years, and in a way that most people don't. Like I see a lot of people that as they get older, they don't really change, right? They don't get better. They stay the same. In fact, unfortunately, I see a lot of people get worse. They get, they just don't want to improve, and they don't have that desire to change. They don't have the desire to make their situation in life better. And instead of getting better, they complain and they go full victim mentality.
Right.
But the difference between them and you that I feel is that you take the obstacles and you think, how can I change the game? How can I inflict my will to make my situation better instead of just complaining all the time? And so where did all that start?
So, like you said, yeah, I always think that if you want some change in your life, it has to come from within. You have to do it yourself because the world is very hard to change for your own circumstances. So, if you want some things to happen, you have to make it happen yourself. That's something I learned very young. And so far, it just works because I take action and usually, somehow it always works. Call that like law of attraction or whatever, but usually whatever I set up to do, it just kind of happens.
Well, I mean, your childhood wasn't the easiest, right? Like in Puerto Rico?
No, it was not. I grew up in Puerto Rico
What was it like there?
until like 14 years old. And well, it depends. For me, it was a hustle because we didn't have as much money. So, it was you will have to wait for food stamps to eat, and the food you will eat will be not the best quality.
Yeah.
So, um, and in Puerto Rico, people like to eat a lot, and I used to like to eat a lot too. So, I was like almost 200 pounds when I was like 12,
Oof.
and I'm like 5'5", so almost like 200 pounds 5'5". That's not a good way.
No.
Yeah. So, um, I realized by like when I almost hit 200 pounds that I needed to make a change. So I started slowly. I went to a track by my house and I started just running. I had no idea what else to do. I just started running and try to drink a lot of water and just eat whatever I could have, but like try to moderate the bullshit food that I had. So that's pretty much how it all started. And then later on, I got into weightlifting. I got into track and field. I got into boxing. So it's been a journey.
Who like motivated you? Like, how'd you get motivated to start lifting? Like, you could have just never started, right? You could have just continued playing video games and never worried
Right.
about building muscle. There must have been some kind of force, right, behind you wanting to change your muscle tone and lift weights and.
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. The first time the first thing I remember about weightlifting and all that was through Dragon Ball Z. Cause I remember seeing Goku and I was like, yo, I wanna like legit be like Goku. So I would start doing like push-ups, all that stuff when I was younger, and then eventually I got into weightlifting just by looking at different people doing it. I had some family members who were into weightlifting and wrestling, so I would look up to that and I would see them like work out. My dad used to work out too, so that's how basically I got into it.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I know, like in your childhood, right? It wasn't like the best atmosphere down in Puerto Rico, right?
Well,
What
like
was it like?
in what way?
Like it was like people around you were they like inspiring, or do you have like some good
Uh,
friends that might have?
I have friends, but it was more of cause I was basically like a nerd when I was like in Puerto Rico, and I'm still probably a nerd, but most of my friends that were not really into working out, they were just like You know, they would watch videos, watch like, you know, cartoons and stuff like that. So it wasn't really like, you know, nobody else really around me was about that, you know, fitness life, eating healthy, taking care of themselves. So I kind of just, you know, started doing it for myself. And like I didn't, you know, it didn't have like a name. I didn't. It wasn't like fitness and diet and all that. It was just like, you know, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm just gonna do this. I had no videos, no books. It just started with a thought of I want to change, so it did.
Yeah, you've literally like you have like the physique that most guys would say they want, right? Because you went from like 200 pounds, right, 5'5", and now you actually have like the lean six pack that a lot of guys like really want,
Yeah.
and some people say that's not possible to achieve that, you know.
Well, the thing is, you know, I always envision things. You know, I like to think a lot. So when I was younger, I would always see myself as literally like how I look now. Like I always thought like I was gonna look like this, and it just ended up happening. So usually, I don't know. I'm able to kind of like predict how things are gonna work out. I would like to think.
I feel like I feel like you're a good example of like a real problem solver because I feel like something will happen and then you'll use every aspect of your brain to like figure out what the problem is and where should I go from here? What are the avenues that I can take to find the correct answer that I want? And then you usually will either take them all and figure it out or you'll find the best one. You think that you find the best one and you'll take that way. How do you think I'm correct in that statement?
No, definitely. One thing I want to add too is that I feel like I like to experiment. Like I use myself as an experiment. So I will try diets. I will try different ways of thinking to see what works for me. So I'm always looking out for knowledge, and then I just use that and try to make it my own thing. So that's basically how I try to solve things, just by observing and trying to analyze and what best scenario can I get. So yeah, definitely.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the biggest problems you see around you, like with people in self development? Like, why won't everyone just change their life?
Well, I think because we have a lot of addictions we can get in this world now. We have a lot of abundance, so you can overeat. You can get alcohol. You can get drugs. You can get a job you hate. It's so easy to just go downhill if you're not aware of what you're doing. So I think a lot of people are just going with the flow without realizing that the flow is going downstream and you're not gonna like it. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people always we're all at these jobs that don't really benefit us in the mind or physically or really anything. We're just there to waste time, to make some quick money, just to pay the rent. And a lot of us feel like we can't get other jobs. Like we've actually been in situations where we were at a job that was not suiting us, so we left. We actually took action,
Right.
which is the biggest problem a lot of people don't have. They work these jobs, and they're in these sort of lifestyles, and they complain about them, but then they never do anything about it. It's like I hate my job, but I'm not gonna. But then you ask them, how come you just won't apply to other jobs and maybe see what you can get your, maybe find a skill or develop some kind of new, some new talents, and they'll tell you, oh, I don't know, they're not hiring. There's no point. I just gotta make it through this job, and I just gotta make enough money to survive.
Well, that's because I think people come from a scarcity mentality, and they settle for scraps because they think that they're not gonna get anything better. So yeah, if you're gonna think like that your whole life, then that's what you're gonna get your whole life, just mediocre life.
Exactly. There's a lot of people right now in this very moment that are living that right life. That life they want to leave, but they don't know how to even take that first step. I mean, I know that you've made that step before. So was it like hard to just like quit a job that wasn't benefiting you, or?
It wasn't hard because I took it step by step, just making, just, putting up your resume or just applying for different things. You already feel better because you're doing something about it. It's not the moving of the job necessarily that is going to give you that fulfillment. It's you trying to get the other job, and eventually you do get it. But at least you don't want to settle, because once you don't do anything about it or you keep it in your head and you don't act on it, then that's when it's going to haunt you. So I feel like as long as you're making moves and you act according to whatever you want to plan ahead, then you should be fine. You know.
Yeah, it
Because
was,
at least you be on your job that you hate, but in your mind you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna leave soon. I'm acting on this. But if you're like, I should have applied. I should have done this, but I didn't because I watched TV and I watched Netflix all day. Then you're gonna fuck yourself up.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of what happens every day, right?
Yeah, I agree with
Unfortunately,
that.
to the average person, they just really feel like they can't.
Yeah, some people just feel like they just get trapped within their own state of mind, and so like they don't know like if they can move forward or leave their job or leave their parents' house or something, and so they just because they're so fixed on how their life is now, they don't know how to change and how the change is going to look, and they'd rather just make it easy for themselves than it would be to actually push on, which is stuff that like we've done.
Right. I feel like they do have the idea. They want to do it, right? They're always thinking about it. Like, I don't like my job. I want to move out of my job, and pursue my career, go back to getting my education. But they don't just sit down and maybe just write it down and plan it. And then now you have an idea. So in a way, I hope that that's the excuse you want to like, follow, or it could be deeper than that, that you're just scared and you don't want to, you deep down really don't want to move up and you're just going to use that as an excuse. But hopefully it's the one that at least if you plan something, you write it down, then like kind of like step by step how to do things.
Yeah.
So that's one advice I can give.
I mean, there was a point, right, where you didn't really feel like you should take too much action, or was that always kind of like the I gotta change my situation now?
I mean, there's moments in life where, of course, you know, your action might not be as productive, or you may need some time to like reflect and deal with different areas. But I always find a way then to get back onto life and just like take action and just do what I have to do. So like I ain't gotta lie, there's times that I took time off, out of things.
Well,
There's
I
things
think,
that I
yeah,
quit.
sometimes you have to take
You
that
know?
time for yourself and sort of like sit back for a second and plan your next move and kind of just relax for a
Right.
second to get like the engines cooled off, because life can get pretty heated,
Right.
with so much going around and technology giving us constant information,
Right.
right? It's complete like hectic energy always going around,
Yeah,
and
sometimes it's
everybody's
good.
always panicking.
Sometimes it's good to take a step back and just assess the
definitely.
situation, just see what everything, take it, and then take a rational step forward where when it's time to.
Because
do
like
that.
one thing about me is that whenever I get something, a project or something I want to do, I get obsessed about it. So I know that I can burn out easily because I'm just like 24/7 thinking about it, and trying to do something about it. So, I know that eventually I got to take my time off.
Everyone's got to
Take
do
a
that
break.
at some point, right?
Yeah, take a
I
break.
feel people should do that. And it's a good thing that you actually take that action to do that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people will.
Yeah, people think I always need to be in the game. I need to be 100%
Like
at all
hard
times.
work all the time, but with hard work also comes rest. You got to make sure you
Yeah.
don't skip that step.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got
there's a balance, Sometimes you need to take a second and just like, okay,
Yeah,
now I can let me take a night off for
have
a second.
some fun, relax,
Yeah, because I know a lot of people that like if the same people that are stuck at these jobs are the same ones that like they'll bust their ass for these jobs, like and working 16-hour shifts for these places, and they hate it, and then they wake up the next day. It's like a cycle that like has no meaning. Like I think there are good cycles and bad cycles. Like you work your job, you go home, go to sleep, you eat some Doritos on the couch and watch Netflix, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up the next day, put sugar in your coffee, and go to work, and the cycle starts all over again, pretty much.
And that's the thing, the eating Doritos and Netflix. That's the real you acting on your work life that you don't like. So, that if you can change that habit after work, of not just watch TV just cause you feel like shit, and you can just like try to relax and do something that for your life that you want to do, then maybe that can help with the circumstance. But if you're not where you want to be and you just sit down and eat shit and watch whatever constantly, then it's gonna be a problem. At least in my eyes.
Yeah, it's really easy to basically just go through that cycle constantly, right?
But the
Yeah,
thing is, you also see everybody else doing it. At least you know if you live around with people, they probably do the same thing too. Just watch TV, just chill all the time.
yeah, it's kind of
Like
like a
not.
herd mentality type
Yeah,
deal.
right. But if you're in a house where everybody's just acting, they're being creative, they're getting ideas out, you most likely will be like, oh, I got something to do too. Like I got these ideas. So your environment definitely, contributes to that.
Yeah, I also feel like mental health is a good uh is also a good factor into that too, because like what we were saying before, if people are doing negative things, maybe they have specific issues, and you might have some specific issues, but they're not being pressed upon, and maybe something happens.
Hmm.
If you're hanging around these people, then your issues will just come out more because of these people's issues are out. I feel like a big herd mentality can be a good thing and also be a very bad thing, especially
Yeah.
when it comes to like people's mental health and the way of them, trying to live their life and survive, through life, in the ways that they need to be happy. Sometimes, sometimes our mental issues can actually be a hindrance to it. But also, if we know what we're doing and we can actually take a step back and see, we can actually make it a really good advantage to our life.
No, definitely. And if, people have, I think everybody has in a way mental health issues, but, it gets to a point where now it's like official and it goes to a point where it's just like bad, but everybody has something to work on, definitely. And if you see the people that you attract in your life and you see, your present circumstances, you can kind of figure out, where you at and what's going on. Because I feel like your friends reflect you, your parents can reflect you as well, your relationships. Everything kind of gives you an example of, where you at. So if you can see through that, then you can definitely work on what's going on and see, what you can improve, you can do, what you cannot do, and move from there.
I definitely believe that, and it's all just a matter of like becoming self-aware of like the issues that you might have, and maybe you have good friends that say something. They can be like, hey,
Right.
this and this, and you take that in because these are your friends. They care about you. So like then you have to reevaluate your whole everything and just take it step by step. But like I know I've had a lot of like mental health issues in the past, and I've been able to conquer it and move forward. Have you had any of these issues that you've been able to either conquer or in the step of conquering right now?
No, definitely. And like you said, when it comes to friends is very important in life. I get to know that, the older I get, the more I realize how you need more people, or you need the right people in your life. And when I had like it was a period of like 3 4 months where I was in a bad place where I didn't want to do like anything. I was just like just completely down. And if it wasn't for my friends giving me that extra push that I needed to just make that move again, then it would have took longer, you know. And they actually helped me skip that step of staying there in that place longer than I needed to. So that's one thing, I'll always be grateful. So I think people definitely need friends, especially because when things are nice, everything is up, all right, it's cool. But if everything goes down, and you need help, you need somebody like the song.
Yeah.
You need a friend. They help with the process a lot. So definitely, I encourage that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
friends are definitely important.
Mhm.
Because some people will say, "Oh, I don't need anybody. I can go through this alone. I can handle this." But a lot of times they really can't because,
Mhm.
as humans, as like we're basically tribalistic, right? We need the boys, right? So when people forget about their boys and their brothers in arms, so to speak, right? The brotherhood, or even the girls too, the sisterhood, when they go solo for a long amount of time and they realize, they think at least, that they could do it on their own. They don't need anybody, and they try to go off the grid, but they end up isolating themselves for a while, right? And it affects them in a totally different way. It's not very healthy because humans are naturally social, and so it's very healthy to go out, make friends, and conversate, right? And because it also helps us evolve, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people around us, especially the like-minded people that we meet in life, they'll help us like evolve basically and become better. Right, so I'm sure you must have met some really good people over the years that sort of influenced your mindset.
No,
Right.
yeah, definitely. Of course, I gotta mention you guys that have influenced me, and I would like to feel like I influence you guys in a positive way. But like you said before, I feel like you have to balance it out. Because I feel like I'm the type of person that you know I do like my friends and I do want to be with my friends, but I also like my alone time too, and that's one thing I gotta balance out. Because I'm the type that sometimes I just wanna like isolate and just kind of like reflect or like really get in that trance and just like think about life and stuff like that. But there's also times that I gotta go back to life and my friends and go back to doing what I gotta do. So like it's like different forces pull me into different things.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Because I feel like having the balance of like your own time and time with with your
the
boys
friends.
and time with the brotherhood and stuff is good because like you can't be with your friends every second of every day,
Mm.
right? The time that you spend when you're alone, when you're not with them is like probably crucial time for yourself just in general, like for your mind, for your body in general. And then when you're with the guys, you're with the boys, the brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever, then that's where, the social dynamic comes in and,
Right.
You care about, everything happens with each other and stuff, But like, yeah, having the balance is I think, very important for everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And you got to know when, you got to know how much is enough, and how much time away is enough and how much time with everybody is enough. You got to make sure you have the right amount.
Right. And
Because too
that's-
much of one might hurt the other.
Right. And that's when like things like discipline comes in hand, being able to tell yourself, all right, I gotta do this now for my own best interest, take action for myself. So that's why, I feel like discipline in every aspect of life is important.
exactly. I mean, it's funny because like when I went through my like first real breakup, right, and Joe actually was the one who got me like actually lifting, right. What happened was I got basically dumped and I was like down in the dumps, and then one day you were just like, hey, want to go to the gym? It helps, and I was like, okay, it's like I was in the state where I was like, I'll do whatever it takes to make some kind of improvement. So we ended up going to the gym, right? And we started lifting, doing, I think we started with hypertrophy, or it was the 5x5, one of those.
I think we got into 5x5. I'm not really sure, but
Yeah, something like that. And then,
I would like to think.
and you thought that I was not gonna, you thought we were gonna have like one gym session and I was never gonna come back.
Yeah,
And-
I thought you were gonna quit.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
And a lot of people do. So,
Mhm.
and then the universe said nah, and basically we just kept on going, right, over the years, and we both made an incredible amount of gains. And then of course a couple years later Mike joined in.
Mhm.
So
I love that.
that like energy affected, that's three people that good energy has been like affected by, right?
Yeah.
So you started lifting weights, and then I was a Planet Fitness before we started, but I didn't really take it seriously. I would just do cardio, and I would just not have good form with the weights, so
Right.
I would just be fucking up and possibly destroying my joints.
I think that's one thing that helped you stay was that I already had I already had my own plan, and with workouts I already had like a strategy. So for you, I made it easier to just blend in because now you got a workout plan. You got somebody telling you about form, things like that. The details that actually like count. So that's one thing I like. The things that I help you transition better because somebody now that actually had that knowledge and apply it.
Exactly. When you have those like-minded people with those goals, like as I said, you just fit in. Right? You just kind of blend in, and you all work together towards the goal. And we made some pretty good gains over the years because of it. Actually, like I would not have the muscle mass I had if it wasn't for those things.
Mm.
And
you are right. You are right about that.
so when did you start like like actually dieting? Like when did you start learning about the different types of foods that were good and bad for you, and how did that help you in your health?
I think probably by like 17, right after when I finished high school and I got my car, and I got into getting into the gym. I first got into the gym, and then I would talk to people or I would research eventually and really start to figure out what diet, you know, can work, how to track my calories, stuff like that. And then eventually, from there I switched things up. I did this, I did that. So it's just like a working process.
Well, I remember I actually found out the keto diet from you because
Right.
eventually you kind of I don't know how you found it actually.
Well, I remember, I think I heard somebody in the gym talking about like, actually, no, I remember now, right? So I was hanging out with two other friends, and then they were eating Subway. Oh, and I was eating Subway too, right? I'm eating this sandwich. And they're talking about, oh, my cousin's a bodybuilder, and he's getting ready for his bodybuilding, competition, and he eats like zero, no carbs at all. He just snacks on like pickles and stuff. I'm like, okay. So then when he showed me a picture, this guy is like ripped, like legit, like he's ready for competition. And he told me, I told him, oh, I'm trying to cut too. I think I've been, bulking for quite a long time. And they're like, try that, try no carbs, and see how that works. So I actually got it from people that I at least expected, to be honest, because they were not about the fitness life. They were just, I think we just finished like smoking, and then they were like, all right, my cousin did this, so I just got that from the most unexpected place,
Yeah.
So, you know. That's a good thing about networking. You never know where you can get, ideas,
Oh yeah.
with people. So that's pretty much how it started. And after that, I did my research and like, no carbs diet, and then that showed up. But that was the first time I ever heard it from a friend.
It helped you out, right? I mean, did lowering the carbs really make that much of a? Did it really help you out, or?
Well, it got me really lean, but then I think my body type originally was supposed to be like that, because when I was younger, I was naturally, ripped before, purity and like the diet that I had in back in the days. So I think I was naturally like that, but that really got me like super lean. But I was losing a lot of weight just because that's my body type. So
Yeah.
then I would have to like, you know, go back on keto to, go back on carbs, go back on keto. So I would have to like switch it up just to keep up my like a good weight to stay in.
Yeah, because there's no perfect diet for everyone, right? We always have to be experimenting. I mean, there are certain guidelines, like stop eating freaking sugar and
Right.
and go out and do something.
Like if your body
Yeah.
can't process it, effectively, or you're most likely gonna store it as fat, and you don't want to be fat, then then keto diet will work for you. But if your body just burns everything and you keep losing weight, then you may have to think about that.
I know that.
Yeah, everyone, because I talk to when I talk to people, like especially at work, like people always ask me about like diet stuff, and I'm always like, everyone's different, and so it's more of a way to like you do one way and see how it works for you. If it doesn't work, then you got to try a different one that's maybe similar, or there's got to be something. But a lot of the times you just need to get rid of the sugar, like the processed foods, a lot of these bad carbs, get rid of the bad proteins, bad fats, like get rid of all this,
Right.
bad shit, and just find like the more natural type of quality
Real
foods.
foods, right? And
Yeah.
then, I think that's the main essential thing about diets. And then there's also three things that you can do, right? You can maintain your weight, you can lose weight, you can gain weight. So
yeah.
you can just act on that, So definitely for losing weight, I definitely recommend keto. And then if you want to gain weight, then I recommend that same whole foods diet. Just add more carbohydrates, complex carbs. You can get potatoes, rice. And if you're gonna maintain weight, then you can mix it up. Some days
Yeah.
you can do like some keto. Some days you can, eventually have a cheat meals. But as long as you stay on that weight, then you should be fine.
Yeah, I feel, yeah, finding the most perfect thing, especially for what you want to do, especially like maintaining weight, you got to make sure you do it correctly, I guess, or
Right.
else, because like you could be thinking that you're maintaining the weight, but then like you might screw up and like accidentally like drop like 20 pounds,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh,
Oops.
That's why you gotta, keep check once in a while your weight.
Yeah,
and you'll see it. You're gonna see if you're gonna lose weight.
Yeah.
So,
just don't look at the scale every day,
yeah.
pretty much.
And one thing I want to recommend too with diets is that, even though people say that diet is the main thing in fitness and all that, it's not to get like just focus on that point. You can't just do diet and not work out or have that mentality of, being active as a person. You can't just do keto and just sit on your couch all day and watch TV. Sure, you may get results, but the mindset itself has not changed. You're
Yeah.
still like, so try not to focus too much on that and just focus on like life in general, the bigger picture,
Yeah.
being active, trying to create good habits. That confidence, that momentum is going to get you to where you want to go. It's not just like the diet itself.
Yeah,
You
because I feel like the diet is more like a spark in a sense,
Right.
to everything. So like having the good diet will create like a more positive more positive like brain power, which then you need to actually use
Right.
to keep going.
It will
So,
give you that energy, of
yeah,
course.
it'll give you
you're
the
gonna get that
energy.
energy.
And it'll give you a positive outlook on everything because you're eating better, so then you're feeling better, so then and so it's just a matter of you actually taking the step of reading a book or going for a run or working out, doing these positive things to then keep you going. Because if you
Right.
just sit on the couch, you ate a huge steak and now you're sitting on the couch watching TV for like 4 hours, you're not really doing anything really for you. You're
Right.
actually just either
Like, you're
keeping
eating
yourself the
healthy.
same. You're eating healthy, but you're technically keeping yourself the same. You're actually not progressing. And you're not even regressing. You're,
stuck,
just staying there.
basically,
Yeah, and you need to get out of that mindset pretty much.
Mhm.
That's pretty much what that is.
It's a life full of distractions, honestly, too. Like, but, a lot of people, the things that keep them from going for their goals and their stuff is basically like distractions, I guess, right? So we've all had our, like, what do you think distracted you like the most from going, because obviously the road to eating better and getting better with like in every aspect of life, it's not an easy road, right? So what are some of the things that kind of held you back, but you kind of conquered through them?
Well, I'm still going through that conquering phase, and I think that's gonna be until the day I die.
Oh yeah, well the journey
You
never
know,
ends, right?
It will never end.
So
But
there's no end goal exactly.
But just like just like everybody else, I like my entertainment. I like to eat. I like to drink once in a while. Like little things like that. Just distracting myself and or doing things, knowing that I shouldn't do. Little things like that. But one thing that I do is I don't let it, you know, fuck up my whole week or fuck up my whole month. Like I'm able to be aware that okay, this is not good, act on it. But like I don't go too hard on like, myself saying, what's stopping me and all that. I just know that I'm human. I do what I can, but if I make a mistake, all right, I reflect on it and I change it. But I won't be like, try to get like really upset about
Yeah,
it.
you
Like
sort of
that.
like take it easy on yourself, right? You're kind of
Yeah.
in that calm state, and a lot of people are not in that calm state. They're always like panicking, so they're always having some kind of crazy anxiety in their minds going on, and what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And they always have this panicking thing. But you have this like calm persona, at least at the moment, so to
Well,
speak.
yeah,
where,
because coming from someone, I can get very anxious, naturally. I was always anxious when I was younger, and I keep working on things that I can do to, relax. I try to meditate. I try to not overthink about the future or the past. Just trying to like, all right, what can I do today? Act on it. Then I feel better about it. That type of thing. So definitely the solution is not to like think too much about stuff.
Yeah.
Just like let it go. Like all right, I gotta do this diet. I gotta work out, right? All right. You get to the gym, you work out, it's done. You eat, it's done.
yeah,
I want to watch some TV. Try to watch some TV and then like give yourself like a time limit. Don't like overdo it. And just kind of like let go, just like day by day. give yourself affirmations. You don't gotta impress nobody. You do what you gotta do. Just things like that. Just being positive to yourself, because the world, itself, most likely is not gonna do that for you, and you don't want to like kick yourself in the balls too by just being like, okay, very judgmental about yourself, or going crazy about yourself. So try to be your own friend. A lot
Yeah.
of people,
They
they're not friends with themselves.
they
So
work
if
against
you,
themselves.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Just try to be your own friend, and when you make a mistake, like a good friend will do, be like, all right, this is what you can do. Don't, it's not the end of the world. So just that type of stuff.
Yeah, like I
And
know, like
then
yeah,
I was just gonna say, and don't be afraid to like make mistakes and fail. That's the thing too, and you need those things so you can learn from it. You're not gonna be perfect.
yeah. We need to learn to understand our past and learn from our mistakes to make a better future. Right. So like I don't know, like right now you have like a routine, right? Like a sort of a basic routine that you follow right now to keep yourself kind of in a good state, right? In a positive state to where you're making moves, but at the same time you're getting better.
Right.
I have to sneeze. Oh, I guess not. Yes, it is. Okay, guess not.
You're having problems here?
Yeah.
You
I
having
don't
some
know.
problems? Okay.
So, but like a lot of things that distract people, guys, I think are like they chase women instead of chasing excellence, so to speak. Not my quote, but I'm using it. Basically, right. So, has like chasing women ever been like a distraction for you
Oh,
on your
definitely.
journey? And has it like held you back, or like what have you learned from kind of like dealing with the opposite sex and
Well,
life?
you see, when I was younger, and I wasn't able to get girls, that's what I focused on, because I didn't get girls. So it was like getting girls was like the greener side of life, right? I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get a girl, and I'm gonna be happy and all that. So through my whole life, the majority of it, I would just try to get girls, thinking that that was the thing that was gonna bring fulfillment. But as I get older and more experienced, you know, I get to realize that that's just like a part of life. It's not the complete set. So it's just, part of it. Um, Whether I chase or not, I think it's like, if in the moment I can chase, I'll chase. But if there's nothing, like right now, there's nothing to chase, right? I could be on my phone trying to like search for like girls and shit like that. But, I don't believe in that. But yeah, like it was a big deal back then, and it distracted me from other aspects of life. But I think it was necessary, because you gotta go through that to realize, all right, that's not everything in life. you know it will come, there will be problems, there's gonna be good times, but it comes and goes like everything else.
Yeah, because I know a lot of guys, they instead of like focusing on their purpose, they're focused on getting the girls, right, all
Well,
the
I
time.
think,
D women.
yeah, I was gonna say too, that comes with conditioning, you know. And I think with this new generations coming up, we're kind of being conditioned to, to get the approval of women. That way, you feel better about yourself. But at least there's a percentage of people now that they're realizing that everything that comes from within that helps you, and that you have to be selfish, in a positive way. Then that's when you get that sense of peace.
Yeah,
Because people want happiness. They think relationships, outside things are gonna bring them happiness, their jobs, their all that. But I think it just comes from trying to know yourself and acting on what you want to do, and just letting it go, and let life happen.
yeah.
So
Because I know like a lot of guys, they're afraid to even like talk to a girl, right? They'll do all these things, but they don't even know how to say hi. I've actually seen you in like real time. You're one of the few exceptions, because you actually have the confidence to. You've actually gone up. I've seen it. You've gone up. You would think a girl's attractive, and you don't think too much about it. You don't overthink, right? Which clouds your whole day. You take the action immediately. So I've actually seen you in real time. Go just approach a random girl that you've never seen before and just say hi, and see what happens, right? And
definitely.
I don't know anyone else besides myself that has done that. I really don't. So
Well, yeah, in this area, I mean,
so
it depends where you hang out with. You know, if you if you go to a party or you go to a club, you're gonna see that often. You know, I guess
yeah,
you don't see that like at parks or like at other places. You
yeah.
know,
Even
like
at
back in the days, I
yeah,
will.
back in
I
the
feel
like
like
at the grocery store, no one
yeah,
has the
nobody
gun.
does that anymore,
You know?
especially now with the mask and this whole situation.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think when I do it, I just get this feeling like I get anxious and you know I try not to think about it, but once I do it, it just the feeling of it after doing it just feels great.
yeah,
So like that's what I focus on, cause if I start focusing on what am I gonna say or it gotta be perfect, then I probably won't do it. But if I'm like after the first thing that I think is when I see something that I want to do is once I do it, it's gonna feel good. So that's what I try to focus on, and then it works.
yeah. Because most people
You know?
they'll never take that first step. The anxiety gets so bad that they'll just quit. Right.
Yeah.
The number one thing holding people back is just not doing it, not taking the action itself, and they don't realize that once you do it, it's fine. Like once it's over.
And like not to think too much of the if you get rejected, for example, not to think too much of rejection because it's all about it's all about you, to be honest. So
Yeah.
once you do it, you give yourself those affirmations like, wow, I did something that I wanted to do. I did it, regardless if you get it or not. I think many people focus on whether they get something or not. So, for example, if you want to pursue a career and you get your education and you have your passion and you can't get that job, then will you feel bad about that whole journey you just went through, knowing that right, I can't get a job because of something?
Yeah. Well, it's like rejection is
You know?
better than regret.
Right, but like I feel like the process itself, is what really matters. Whether you get the reward or not, you fucking did it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the biggest problem, man. They just don't want to do it. No, they don't want to take that risk. That's what life's really about. It's one big risk. I mean,
life's is risks.
you step outside and there's a possibility that there's going to be a speeding car to hit you, right? There is no safe.
I was just gonna say that life is chaotic. There's fucking anything can kill you out there.
At any moment. Yeah,
We may feel safe, of course, and we want to have our lives to be smooth and with no problems. But it does not gonna go like that. Life is gonna be ups and downs. It's gonna be chaotic, and all you can do is find peace from within. And just know that you're gonna be happy, you're gonna be sad, you're gonna be angry, you're gonna be whatever. But you can have like a sense of peace knowing that all right, this is my life. I'm alive. Like there's nothing else to it. But if you focus on outside things, what other people think, comparing yourself to other people, like all the bullshit that really doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
Then of course you're gonna like, kind of like fuck up your life in a way. So I think you have to focus on the simple things in life and what you can do and what you cannot, and just do whatever you can.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Everyone has a different path, so there's no secret formula to follow to get success in life. There are certain plot points they want to hit, but everyone's journey is different. Right? I mean,
Yeah, like you gotta just find happiness in the little things in life, and just you have to be happy within yourself, because if you're not happy, then your whole entire life is just gonna be just a big negative cesspool. You want to be happy because you are the only person that you're gonna be with for the rest of your life. And so if you're not happy, then you'll never be happy ever. You have to find it within yourself.
Exactly. And then, also to be comfortable with yourself and just know what your abilities are and what you can or you cannot do, and just you gotta accept that and just let it go. I think a lot of people focus on the things they don't have and they never realize what they have. They're not grateful for being healthy or having a house, having food, but they want to focus on, oh man, I don't got this girl, or I don't got as many followers as this other dude, or like shit like that. So if you focus on those areas in your whole life, then you're never gonna be happy, because you're always gonna be worried about what you don't have, and when you get it, you're not gonna be happy because you wanted something else. So like you just gotta let that mentality go in a way.
Yeah, You have to separate yourself from that, and just you have to be okay with what you have. You have to be, like you said, you have to, oh, I have 25, 25 followers on Twitter. Oh, okay, I'm grateful for these 25 people that follow me.
Better than like my friend said, better than 24.
Yeah. But
So,
and like if I went from today having 25 to then tomorrow having 300,000, then I'm grateful for that. It's not like, oh man, I wish I had 1,000,000.
400, like, yeah.
Like I can push myself to get that, but like I'm grateful for what I have now. And if I can't get there, I'll still be grateful. So it's just a matter of, loving yourself, loving everything you have, and just, trying to progress forward, knowing that you don't take any of the stuff that you have for granted, pretty much.
Right. And of course, you can always set up goals, right? You can always, plan ahead for the future. But the only way you can do that is by doing it now. That's one thing, not to try to overthink about the future. Create a life in your mind and not just act on it right now, and then hopefully that will come true. But you also got to realize too, things may or may not happen, but regardless, you took action, and that's what really matters right there. That's the work. So I think that's the main thing, I focus on, because I don't know what's gonna happen. I work out, I got my goals. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna reach them, and that's okay. If I do or don't, it's like, damn, maybe I spent my whole life doing it, but like, I acted on it.
Well, it's basically the journey, not the destination. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the journey is supposed to be. It should be fun. It should be like, like why do we love movies? It's because the character goes through a journey, a life-altering journey, and it's fun to go through different things. I mean, it may not necessarily be easy per se, but it's necessary. It's that journey, it's that anxiety that keeps us like human. That keeps us moving.
Well, it keeps us connected because you're gonna meet other people. You're gonna meet friends. If it wasn't for my journey with fitness, we probably would not been like as friends as we are, right?
Yeah.
So like that's the same thing. You get people based on your actions and your mentality, and that's how you move from there. You gotta let some people go, some new ones come in. It's just everything changes, but your journey is the main thing for yourself. When you get older, you're like, oh wow, I did all these things. And that's what really matters.
Yeah.
Not like, oh man, I didn't get to make like $1 million, or I didn't get to have this or that. It's just like, I acted the best that I could, and it was good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, like people will ask me, oh well, how do I get friends? I don't really have a lot of friends, and I don't really have a purpose right now, and I'm kind of a little lost. And I'll say, well, what do you do? What do you do about that? Where do you go to meet new friends, right? How are you gonna start a journey or develop a purpose if you're not trying new things, right? To branching out into different areas of life.
Well,
right?
Like we said before, you have to be friends with yourself, because if you want to make friends out there in this world, friendships it's like a business. It's a give and take, You can't expect to have friends if you don't take care of yourself and you got nothing to offer. That's just reality.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, some people may take you for charity work, but they're still using you because they want to feel better, taking care of like other people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, people also, we search out people that can benefit us in some. It's not to be like
most people.
It's not
do
to be like
that.
narcissistic or like evil. Like, oh, I'm gonna have him do my bidding. It's like a natural thing in our mind. Like how is my hanging out with this person gonna help me out? Because you don't want to hang out with people that just take you down a really dark hole, right? That's not fun. That's not making you better, and that's not a good utilization of your time.
Exactly.
Right.
So once you work on yourself, and you reach out, you reach out the best that you can, and something's gonna stick. And if not, then just keep trying.
You just got to try different things.
Yeah.
Man, I know you've tried a bit of different things.
Yeah.
Right?
I did, yeah, definitely.
And you find out what works, what doesn't work, who suits you and who doesn't really add value to your life. And sometimes not everyone's going to add value, right? They might just try to bring you down or
Try to make pretty much
Right.
either bring you down, try to keep you where you are, doesn't try to make you not progress.
Right.
It's all
So
just a matter of that. And like it's also a matter of you like being aware that that's happening and you taking action upon it. Like if they aren't, if they're keeping you in one spot and you start to realize this and you become aware of it, then you have to act upon it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there's something you have that I don't see a lot. This is big, I think, is awareness. To be aware of what's going on around you, right, and to make proper assessments on how to handle certain situations. You have
Yeah.
that, like the people skills. I'll say, like you could sort of sense what people are thinking, in sort of some ways through their body language or how they say things, right? Because it's not always what you say; it's sometimes how you say it.
right.
And you have that skill to kind of detect, like, is this person bullshitting me? Am I being trying to get tricked right now, or are they really authentic as they say, right? You have that social awareness, right? I don't know if it's an IQ thing or if it's like, I mean, I guess it grows over time.
I think I would say I would like to think it's because of like how you grow up.
Mm.
You know, when if you grow up a certain way, you have to be aware of that for your own survival. You have to know, or have an idea of where people are coming from, and from a young age, you can probably see that through body language because there's a lot of things we don't understand when we're young, but when you look at certain things, they may look dangerous, or some people will like have this behavior that you've seen before. You're like, wait, something's off, you know. So I'm very observant due to my environment that I grew up, and I have a sense of where people are coming from, or they're trying to like, do something good or bad, you know. So based on that, and actually like, talking to that person and really paying attention to that person, that awareness makes me give me an idea of what's going on. So yeah.
Yeah, because it's a powerful tool to have a certain awareness, right? To really analyze things, right? Sometimes it could be, costly because you overthink things. We
Right.
all overthink
Mhm.
things, right? But at least we know sort of like our environment around us, and we can sort of like assess what is the best way to get through this situation, and how can I use this to my best advantage? How can I use this in a positive way, right?
And that's the key part right there, because let's say you're aware that something's not working for you, right? It could be a friendship, a job, or whatever. But that thinking of what can I do about it, now that's the real key to making that transition into something positive. So like, if I know somebody's wrong with me, something's wrong for me, but I stay with that person, then that's on me. And that person, they might keep, breaking boundaries, or they might keep taking advantage. But if I let that happen because my mind gets in the way that, okay, maybe that person will change, or they don't mean that, or blah blah blah, but you're ignoring that instinct of, like, you need to, get rid of this person or this circumstance, then you're gonna do more harm to yourself, that person did. So I think if you're, able to let go of that fear of losing things, so you can get what you want. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
you have to be able to let go of what you have sometimes to get what you
absolutely.
want. So once you get through that fear of doing that, then you should be able to turn something negative into something positive by doing what you have to do, which is
Yeah.
sometimes letting go and just,
Yeah, I also noticed that you take full accountability for your actions, right? You don't say, "Oh, I did this and it's his fault," right?
mm,
You sort of understand that all the actions that you make, they're your actions, and you take accountability for what you do, and you own it pretty much,
mm,
right? And a lot of people
like,
don't do that. They play the blame game, which
right.
is
And
very
I
easy to
done
do.
it, and I done it. I'm not gonna say like I'm always like that.
Yeah.
There's times that, I feel like I can blame, circumstance, so I can blame the environment, but then, I reflect on it and say, okay, what can I do about it? How can I make this easier? Because you can definitely blame, and people do that all the time. We were talking about that the other day, like how people are like, you can be a victim so easily now in 2020, because you know, that's like the trend thing to do, to just be a victim and blame, and this is not like this or this is not like that. But it comes back to my first initial thoughts, which were, what can I do about it? How can I, you know, adapt to this better?
Yeah.
So I think that's the one of the few things you can do. You can keep blaming, or you can do nothing, or you can adapt to a circumstance and you know, make it better for yourself.
Absolutely. You know, that's the game.
Yeah, and like I said in the beginning, like you are definitely a social problem solver, where you definitely don't, like, you overthink sometimes, but like you take the problems that you see, and you try to find the best solution possible, and you'll do whatever it takes to get to that solution. You never really stay in one spot about it. You always find, you always see what the problem is, where is it coming from, where can I go from here, where will I end up if I take one way instead of another way, or
Right.
what if I take all these ways, what can I do, blah blah blah. You definitely have that. A lot of people do not have that, especially in the social way. A lot of people, like, they'll have it in like a physical way, where they know how to build things, they know how to break down tools and all these things. But I feel like it's also very important to have it in the social aspect, especially now because of social media and everything.
Right.
Everyone's having a lot of, like, everyone gets all these all these different conditions like anxiety and all these other things, but you know how to assess a problem within a social dynamic space and be able to create it positively, or just try to endure it,
Right.
like to get through it, to find yourself on the other side.
Yeah.
That's because I try to adapt the best that I can, you know, and that's the main thing. I'm able to try to understand the circumstance or the person, and from there I act in a way that's beneficial for me and then that person, but especially for me, and that's just how it has to go, you know.
Yeah, because you need to
Yeah.
put yourself first,
Right.
obviously, in life. Because if you're not being the best of you,
Mhm.
you can't share yourself with anyone.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. You need to be your best self, or else then you're not giving yourself any justice.
Right.
Exactly. You see that?
Precisely.
Beautiful.
Dubiously.
Well, with that said, we're gonna wrap it up here, and I hit a lot of my points. But you know what? That
Yes.
that's a good thing to have a mindset like that, because it's how we're always trying to get better, right? And we're always trying to make ourselves, into the best possible version of ourselves. And in order to do that, we need to take risks. We need to understand that it's not going to be easy. We need to understand that we need to sort of take it easy on ourselves, and we need to be our own best supporter,
Exactly.
right? And we need to understand what benefits us in life and what brings us down, and to make logical, proper assessments on what we can do to take the proper action.
What can be done.
Exactly. What can be done, and not focus on what can't be done.
Mhm.
Focus on the possible, but not the impossible. So thanks for coming on, man.
All right,
we
thank
really
you for
appreciate
inviting
it.
me.
And
It's been
absolutely.
a pleasure.
Well, we'll have you on again for future installments.
Oh, I can't wait.
Beautiful.
We'll see you guys later. All right?